Hi everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Derek, and
Nemo, your host.
welcome back to Conversation Corner.
Mhm.
Today we are going to discuss one important topic that people take lightly. We are going to discuss about the importance of community in relationships. And when I say community, you're talking about your friends, neighbors, relatives, the people who surround you. Yes. So,
Are they important?
very, very important.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's start
Yeah.
from here.
Mhm.
Now, before we start looking at the modern lifestyle,
Yes.
I feel like it is important to look at the traditional us, Kenyans, us, even before colonization, so that you can understand why we feel it is important. You'll find that African communities, the way we would live,
Yes.
is boys would be grouped together until they reached manhood,
Yes.
whatever that might be. For some was getting the cat, for some was killing a certain animal, but manhood was achieved in various ways.
Yeah.
Once they get to that, then they would stay with their
peers.
Their peers.
Yes.
And then there's also the elderly men.
Yeah, who would come and give them advice.
Give them
Yes.
advice.
Yes.
And then for the girls as well, what I have seen is there was, when we were young, very young, sometimes there was no much separation between boys and girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as they developed, there was separation between the girls and the boys. And then when they reached an age where they could marry, they would become, women. And then there were also elderly women.
Yes, who will also come and teach them a few things here and there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these were the communities. And then we have now the whole community. Yeah, if depending with whatever tribe you are. So they grouped. And then now there's also, remember, within that community, there's husband and wife.
Yeah.
I'm a husband and his wives. Okay. I'm a polyandry.
Now you're introducing new terms. I will ask you now to define polyandry.
Polyandry?
Yes.
One woman and many men.
Traditionally.
Why not?
Where would that happen? Which part of Kenya did that happen?
Okay. It is subject to research. Okay.
But I know that would have been very difficult actually in traditional times. I believe that would have been very difficult.
I feel like most of us understand our tradition after colonization. After colonization. What about before colonization?
Okay.
Yeah. Very
Right.
good question, because we used to emulate from animals. So you'll find that the women were, goddess of fertility. Higher question, subject to questioning.
This I would like to go and find out.
I'm not saying it is there, but I'm saying it has a very high possibility.
Yeah, I would love to look for my grandparents and great grandparents and ask questions.
Would they even know?
They probably, we don't know. You just have to ask.
I feel like they are long gone, as in, because if you look at what is it, colonialism, it happened when the early 19 nauko and late 1800s.
Yeah, I believe our parents might have an idea of some of those.
Our parents.
Yeah.
That is my grandmother.
Yes. Yeah, some of them might know. Yeah. We'll just have to ask and find out.
We'll have to find out, yeah. But it's a very interesting thing, because you'd be surprised what you find with African communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some communities have the goddess of fertility as being women. So you find maybe a woman with a couple of men. story most men do not like hearing.
One point is we do not like sharing. That is a given. I would never share.
No. Ants and all these things they share.
Yeah.
The queen of whatever is a woman and the workers and the men. Anyway,
that is where they are ants.
Yeah. But remember, we copy from animals. We are animals.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, one man and many women.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was also part of the community. Now, you see, pressure was not so much. They say, according to what history says, pressure was not so much back in the day on a romantic relationship. Why? Because, number one, for women and for men, you could talk to your age group, the ones you've been bundled with. We've explained the groups that were there, the ones that you've been bundled with. Okay. You could talk to your entire gender, because they used to have also, like you said, the elderly women come and talk to the younger women and vice versa.
Advise them, yes.
So you could also release your pressures through gender. And when I talk about gender, it's the men sitting down together and the women sitting down together. Yeah. And also you could sit down as a whole community to talk about these things. And then now sit down with your spouse or spouses. So the pressure was not so much on one person.
Well, actually, I believe that as much as technology has made the world smaller in terms of bringing people together, it has also isolated us in quite a huge way. Nowadays, people would rather chat briefly or call for a few minutes, and that is the end of it. People do not come together as much as they used to. Just as a family, even family gatherings have become few. Yeah, people say tuonane siku ya mazishi. Yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad, actually. And we need that togetherness, because I believe even when we were growing up, I remember we would occasionally go home as relatives. You get uncles have brought their kids and aunties have brought their kids, so we meet as cousins and interact during the holidays, spend a lot of time together. Yes, but nowadays we rarely go home. Even for Christmas, people rarely travel. That's true. And this is what we're saying. It's bringing a strain on marriages. Yes. Because your spouse is your source of financial stability, spiritual support, emotional support, physical, you name it, all the aspects of support. Yes. You give it to one human being, and also remember they also have their pressures from maybe work and whatnot and all that, and they don't even have a way of channeling them. Exactly. Yes. And in most cases, you get the men are under a lot of pressure because men do not really know how to vent, or they do not, they lack the capabilities of venting. Yeah, it's true, they do. Again, if you look at how society has raised men, yes, a man should not do what? Not cry. Should not cry. That's a way of venting. It's a way of venting. Yeah. We are not saying men should cry, but it's a way of venting. Talking about it is also another way of venting. Yes. Yeah? But these are emotions men have been forced to suppress. Yes. And you get that in some cases, men fear venting because sometimes it is used against them as a weapon. When you mama. Yeah, I know. You say what a mama. To be very honest, I'm guilty. I've even used that. That on someone. Please apologize. Apologize to them. They don't know. When you're with your people, and then you say, yes, so I understand. Yeah, this is what men face actually on a constant basis out here in relationships. So they do not have somebody whom they can talk to. And because now they are isolated, when they are at work, they are under a lot of pressure from work. They come home, the wife unloads on them. Now they are the only people who are carrying this load, and they do not have anywhere to afford to. Yes.
Why do you feel the women are downloading so much stress? The men are downloading stress.
No, yeah, it was just an example. It happens both ways. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in most cases, the men are the ones who are suffering more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very true. Derek.
Yes.
There is healthy community and there's toxic community.
Yeah.
What do I mean by this? Now, you're around your friends, you tell them, let me call them friends in quotes.
Okay.
Because you're with your friends and you tell them, me and my wife today are going somewhere, so I have to leave you people early. Then what do the men do? We'll be show her who is boss. Yes, and the same happens to women.
Yeah.
Kalishe kidogo. What is this? Kalia kidogo. Such things. And those are not friends. That's not a community. That's not a healthy community, unfortunately.
Actually,
nimeguza pabaya.
No, it's quite true. In today's society, submission from women is thoroughly sneered upon. Yes. Actually, and the problem is women themselves, when they find that one of their own is submitting to the man, they even they call them names and say all negative things about that. It is just a matter of how society has become of late. And in most cases, it's due to Western influence and mostly it's Western influence. Yes.
In fact, back in the day, as much as there was no divorce and men were allowed to divorce, and again, I'm speaking after colonization, most men, if they had issues in their marriages, they would talk to their leaders.
Yes.
Or elders, yeah?
Yes, and the chief and the village elders played a very, very important role in even punishing. Yes.
Punishing?
How will I say it? For example, the wife has an issue with the husband. They would go to the village elder, to the chief, and the chief would actually punish the husband. Yes. Especially in our western regions, in our communities. Yes, the chief had a lot of influence. Yes.
And I agree. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I wasn't remembering. Yeah, the chiefs would be able to punish wrongdoers.
Yes.
And even strip you of, for us, I think they would strip you of land. Because, again,
to cruise and land.
This is serious. So
that was the greatest form of punishment. This land is no longer yours.
No longer yours. Will fall to your son. Yeah, you find a better thing to do. Wow. Yeah, it was very serious apparently, and such decisions were made, with the chief and a bunch of elders together, like a jury. They'll come up together and say, okay, Derek is no longer worth of this. Let's pass it on to his son. Let's banish him off from the community. It was that serious, huh?
Yes.
And these were healthy. This is now a healthy community. Why? Because it helps you check your reality. Some people flip reality. There are things I've seen, heard people say, and I'm like, you're flipping your reality.
Also, you remember when we were young, if your neighbor would see you making a mistake, they would punish you.
Oh yes. Hey, nowadays try that. You'll be in prison.
Yeah, you deserve for punishing somebody's
Exactly.
child.
Yes, yes.
And you see that also brought it us in a manner that we knew you respect your neighbor, you respect your parents, you respect everybody, because
community.
yes, because if you're found in a wrong, that neighbor has the power to punish you, and also inform your parent, and then you get more punishment.
And the good thing about this neighbor, he was not malicious.
No, it was for your own good.
It was for your own good.
Yes.
Because sometimes nowadays, what I've seen is even a neighbor can be malicious, you know. So the community.
That's why we are saying today's society, things have changed so much. And you get that if you are punished by your neighbor, it reduces even the load on the parent.
Even maybe the parent is not there, maybe the parent is working, and the neighbor is seeing something wrong is happening, they can correct
you, and it gets that it makes you stay in line. Nowadays, people are, how do I say it? Children will show you things out here and you wonder what?
Yes.
You'll ask yourself, how does the parent stay with this character in their home? Because some of the things that people are doing, it makes you wonder, say, I cannot.
The community is getting weaker and weaker. By the way, I think by now it's very weak.
Yes.
In that all we have is your phone, your friends, your community is on the phone. People need to meet. People need to have that, face to face.
Yes, that togetherness that was there a long time ago is not there anymore. Yeah. Even right now, I'll ask you a question. How many neighbors do you know?
Hey, Derek, man, you've attacked me. Do not attack. Very attacked.
You see, now this is the point that we are talking about.
Look.
Yes.
I know the neighbors in my mom's area.
Now you see. And where you live.
Those are the subject of discussion.
Exactly my point. It's not that it is your fault.
Yes.
It is just that even the neighbors are isolating themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
They do not want to
be disturbed.
Yes.
In fact, I was listening to a very interesting conversation, and they were saying the richer you are, the more smaller your community becomes.
Indeed.
Because you buy a mansion in an isolated place.
Yes.
Or somewhere where there's not, the neighborhood is not very close. But again,
and you build high fences around the mansion.
Exactly.
Yes.
So there's also that. Even I'm not saying that the money is bad. What I'm saying is people need to come together. Have a community in church so that they can support your spiritual. Not just church alone. Whatever religion you work with, yeah.
Yes.
Have a community there. They can help you support your spiritual views. Friendships, choose the correct friendships. They either make or break you.
I will give you a good example. As we are right now, people are isolating themselves, isn't it? In case you are in trouble, like I'll give you a good example. Like not long ago, my spouse was quite unwell, and she needed to go to hospital, and you see the community, the friends that we have came together to support us. Yes. So you put yourself in a situation where you need help, but you've isolated yourself from your neighbors, from family, from friends.
And guess who you only have to talk with? Your spouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now even the friends that you used to talk to, you've isolated yourself from them, and you need financial help, or you need just emotional help, and you have nobody to talk to.
Exactly.
You end up unloading on your spouse, and your spouse already has even more trouble of her own. She has nowhere to go to, or he has nowhere to go to and unload.
Yes, I agree. So people need to come up with a healthy way of bringing in community, because community really plays a huge role on relationships.
Yes.
Yes, because the emotional support he is talking about, it's not just your husband's role to take on the emotional support.
Yeah.
There is also friends. Friends can play, or even neighbors.
Yes.
They can play a huge support on the emotional.
Emotions. Yes.
And then the spiritual, financial. I've seen a bunch of friends who come up together for financial purposes. Okay.
Yes.
Let's do a barbecue, nyama choma, once a month and talk about business. You've seen there are such communities, by the way, and they exist.
Yes.
So get yourself the right community that will help you offload the stress in your relationships.
Indeed. If you look at currently the rate at which people are committing suicide,
oh, it's high.
It is very high because people do not know whom to reach out to. I remember when we were young, in case we had issues, we had our aunties, our uncles, our cousins, people whom we talk to. If you are afraid to talk to your parents,
you
can talk to your auntie or your uncle, and they will also know how to bring up the issue with your parents or even how to help you solve the problem. But nowadays, people are not communicating at all. Yes.
And when you communicate to your spouse and he doesn't respond the way you want him to respond, you touch the whole house.
It becomes even more stress for them. It breaks the relationship.
Yeah, so people should learn to choose. Oh, something I also wanted to bring in. When people are choosing these communities,
yes.
Maybe you have your sport community where you go to do physical activities with.
Yeah.
I would generally ask spouse to stop jealousy.
Jealousy is part of life.
There's healthy and toxic jealousy. Because what I want to say is sometimes, truly, honestly, your spouse has gone to, the gym or something, or even is taking barbecue with those financial friends I'm talking about.
Yes.
Then this other one is, no, you are doing something behind my back. Yeah, so there is healthy jealousy.
True.
Nobody should allow. So be as open as you can. That's what I'm saying with your spouse. Tell them, I have this financial whatever. I attend every month and it has so and so. And if you want, you can join.
Yes.
That way we can have. I mean, I think it's also good when your spouses, your spouse's people, and also like that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also good.
Yes.
Yes. So build healthy relationship, healthy communities.
Very, very important. You remember even when you were young, I'll give you an example. When we were young during circumcision, if in our clan people are getting circumcised, we would be brought together. As the young boys would stay together, avoid women totally. The only people we would interact with are
elders,
elders, yes. And they would make sure we get the food that we need and everything. Occasionally talk to us about values, what to expect, what is expected of you, what you expect to get out there. They talk to you, and they really instill those important morals in us as young people. And now, if you look at it, those things are no longer there.
Yeah, and if they're there, they are very few.
Yeah, very few. Especially now that we have chosen to live in urban centers.
With digital things.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has really isolated us.
I feel like also communities are becoming, or even friendships. Let me call them friendships. Friendships are becoming fake as we go. Why? Because you show your best side on social media.
Okay, faking it.
People are faking it on social media, but inwards you're going crazy.
Yeah.
So I feel like also that is really destroying community because everyone is after the look of happiness. Yeah, so they constantly post themselves in their happy state. No one will want to post themselves sad.
Yeah. I'll give you a good example. For example, I have a problem and I come and talk to you as a friend. I explain the issue. You being assuming that I am assuming that you're my friend, and yet you have malicious intentions. You start using what I have told you against me.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is there.
Yeah. And you see, it even drives somebody deeper into depression because they thought that they were sharing their problem and they get a solution. Instead, they get more problems. So you see, it even like pushes people to even isolate themselves more. Nowadays, people are using whatever you tell them against you. Yeah, so it becomes a problem.
In fact, one of the major reasons as to why there's a lot of mental health issues
Yes,
is because we are lacking community.
indeed, indeed.
We lack community, we are isolated. Yes, technology is there to bring us together, but apparently it's bringing us further and further apart. Yeah. So whichever person you choose, you load them with all your burdens. Yeah, all of them. We've mentioned mental, spiritual. You just load them, and they can't even handle. And that marriage has a hard time working.
Yes.
And eventually, people split up. And apparently, people split up to continue with the same problem. Nowadays, we say same problem, different bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, you need to build that community. Is very important.
Yes. And what we need to do is encourage one another because the challenges, everybody is facing challenges. And even I saw a clip somewhere where people have been friends for years, they meet, they drink together, they talk, they disperse.
Oh, I remember you showing me
I
that.
showed you that
Yeah,
clip,
that was
isn't
a
it?
good clip, yeah.
And now one day people are talking and you get that people are in divorce courts, people are suffering, the businesses are failed, but because they do not have the way to express themselves to their friends. So people are just suffering in silence, people are dying inside. So I would recommend, please find somebody to talk to. Find somebody you can trust, talk to them. Yes.
Build a community around you.
Yes.
And communities are built in different ways. The way I personally have managed to build a community is have people who we have same interests. An example is I like singing.
Okay.
I have people that sing with together.
Okay.
I have friends, when you talk about emotional support, I have the friends there. Yeah, so those are and there are many ways of picking communities. Yeah, you could be a parent and you want a community of parents.
Yes.
Yeah, you could want a community. I mean, the options are so many. So have those communities and work with them, and that will really, really help.
Yeah. Community is very important. Yes. And if you're having a problem finding a community, talk to us. We will listen. We will advise you accordingly. And maybe even we can link you up to people who can also help you.
People who've talked about the same thing.
Yes.
Because I've seen some comments, and it's very sad when you see comments like, "I don't have a friend. Yeah, can you be my friend?"
Yeah.
I've seen such comments, and they are very devastating. Now, another thing you also said on community,
Yes.
the video you sent me on those people who are talking about how hard it has become.
Yeah.
Another thing I've noticed is, it is. I'm not saying it is bad. I want to put it in a way people can understand, because people can easily get this one wrong. Now, when you're meeting in a community, friendships, serious friendships.
Yes.
I've seen people saying, the only time somebody opens up is when they're drinking.
Okay.
Well, you know that comment. You know that. I'm sure you're well aware of that comment.
Yes, I am.
Normalize having those difficult conversations without having a numbing solution agent, because then you're not doing yourself the favor, because those agents, those things, they don't really help much, because that's why they are called numbing, because they work on something on your brain,
Yes.
And that's the only time you can loosen up and talk. I feel like mostly men are really affected by this, because they're not able to air out their true selves.
Exactly.
Their true selves, So when you find those communities, you can have a community where you go to enjoy yourself with, and that is perfectly okay. But the community that plays a huge role on emotional support, I would really, really urge people to not use numbing things.
No alcohol.
I know that's hard to hear. Well,
because you see, they say when you drink alcohol, it makes you forget your problems. But the moment you sober up, you find the problem is still there waiting for you.
Yeah. And numbing is not just alcohol. There's also people play these PlayStations while having a serious discussion. Don't. Those addictions, whatever you're addicted to, if your community is a PlayStation community, make sure that's a PlayStation community. As much as sometimes, yes, we do talk, but there's also that emotional support that's around you, and not just your spouse. And that way you can have a healthy marriage. I feel like you can have
actually
a healthy.
It helps with marriage. Yes, it helps a lot with relationships, so that you don't burden one person with all the problems that they're out there.
That is overload, even for one person. It is a lot. So that is about community. Think about it, research on it, by the way. You'll find so many interesting things.
Yes.
And be as thorough as before colonization. I still want to know if women were marrying
that is serious. I strongly disagree.
You might disagree now, but remember the programming that has been on you since you were born.
True. We've been brought up with the different cultures that were brought in with the Muzungu, as they say.
Yes. So find out who you were before, way before the colonization period, the 1600s, 1500s, and see if you're sure those are our grandparents. I feel like that is great.
I do not know. Reach out.
But again, people used to live for so long back in the day, 200 years.
You should ask them their secret, because I think it's the food that they ate.
Yeah, the food.
There's
they were
no
mentally okay.
Foods,
You're okay here. You're okay here. It really helps. Your mind and heart are doing fine. So even we reduce the number of diseases.
Yes.
All right, guys. Any questions for our viewers today? I just want to know if people back in the day allowed polyandry.
Our viewers might not know.
I
might not know. So
when they research, they can tell us. Okay, you can have another question. I don't know. Personally, that is a question.
That is the question that I'd like to know. I would like to ask our viewers, do they have the community support that they need? Yes.
And how do they get it?
If no, please let us know. And if you need that community support, I think we as Conversation Corner can create that community. Yes. And support each other emotionally. Yes.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Derek. I think the session has been wonderful.
Yes.
What do you think?
That has been great.
So subscribe, like,
comment, share.
Yes.
We'd like to get as many people as possible following us, listening to what we are trying to teach. It is very important.
And that's what I like about Conversation Corner. It's serious topics.
Yes.
It's not comedy relationship
No. It's
podcast.
real
Life
issues that
issues.
are affecting us in relationships, past, present, and even future. These issues will still be there.
If
They
we
will
don't
affect
work
you.
on them,
Yes.
they'll even be worse.
Yeah.
All right. Bye bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye. Catch you on the next one.
All right.